When did you know, or what was it that happened that made you realize that a serious storm was hitting Joplin?
Well, my family and I went to church that Sunday morning,
Right.
and we go to church at Christ Church of Oronogo,
Uh-huh.
and that's in Oronogo, Missouri.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
and my husband said, it feels sticky out here, like maybe a tornado could be coming.
You could feel something in the air.
He thought he could. He's kind of got that sixth sense about him. And so we got home, and I was sitting there. Well, we took my daughter, her friend lived in Oronogo. We took her to her friend's house.
Yeah.
And my son was with his friends and stuff.
Yeah.
And we lost track of both of them. We didn't know. Well, we knew where our daughter was, but our son was old enough to roam around everywhere because that was the year that he was at the graduation. That was supposed to be his graduation.
And he was at that graduation?
He was at that graduation because he had
at the high
friends
school.
there. He had graduated because he got his GED.
Okay. So he was at the university where they had the graduation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it was that year.
Yeah. And so did you lose track of your kids for a while?
I lost track of my son, and we didn't have any cell service or anything like that.
Right.
But I was sitting there. We got home, and my husband and I was sitting there playing a game on our Xbox.
Yeah.
And my husband's like itching to. He goes, you need to save that game so we can check the weather. And then Doug Hetty comes on and said, to take cover. We didn't have any inkling of an idea because the sirens kept going off and on, off and on. They said it was from the straight line winds and stuff. So, we didn't really, a lot of people didn't heed the warnings because the way the sirens were.
You get a lot of warnings, right? I mean, every year there are warnings, and I've heard that.
Yes, here we get tons of them.
No, was your home damaged in the tornado?
Not my home, but my fence. We have a fenced-in back front yard.
Yeah.
Our fence was completely damaged.
Yeah.
And we had a big tree in the front yard,
and
it was completely just torn
by
the roots.
So the storm passed through, but the tornado kind of, the destruction zone was a bit from where you live. Could you still hear it? Could you still hear the storm go by?
Yes.
How?
Like a freight train, it was as loud as you and me standing here.
Wow.
It was so loud, you could hear it, really
And
loud.
had you ever, you probably never heard anything like that before.
No, I was too young when the last one went through. We lived in Hornet, Missouri.
Okay.
I was too young at that time.
No, but you were saying earlier that you have family members who lost their homes?
Yes. My cousin, my aunt and my cousin and their dog, one of their dogs, was on the cover of USA Today. They were walking. She had a blanket wrapped around her. That was a picture on the paper, and that was them. And yeah, they lost their home and their vehicles and one of their dogs or cats or something. And then my cousin lost everything as well.
And they lived over a couple blocks from where we are right now?
My aunt's house was on 27th and Connor.
Yeah.
My cousin's house was on 27th and Monroe.
Okay, and we're right at 23rd, and what is this street here?
This is Moffett.
Okay, 23rd and Moffett is where we are. Yeah.
And then my other cousin lives by Schiffer-Decker Park, and they were hit as well. I don't know the extent of the damage of theirs.
Wow.
But my uncle lived on 21st and Byers, and he had some damage as well.
Wow.
I had two aunts that were buried under rubble. They lived on 23rd and Annie Baxter, I believe. And one broke their back and was never the same and ended up succumbing to her injuries. I lost another cousin
In the storm?
in the storm.
Are you willing to say what that cousin's name was?
I did not know him because
Okay.
I had just met my dad's side of the family at
Okay.
that time.
Sure.
But my niece, Mariah Putnam, she was buried for 2 days she stayed all night with a friend, and they looked everywhere for her and couldn't find her. So, but she was, fine. She was unhurt after.
So she
It
was
was a
buried for
miracle.
2 days, and they
2 or
finally.
3 days, they couldn't find her anywhere.
And then what? Eventually, was it a dog or a recovery dog or something that
I
finally
don't
found her?
know exactly because, like I
Wow.
said, that is on my dad's side of the
Sure.
family,
Yeah.
and it's my brother's youngest child
Wow.
or middle child.
Yeah. So just about a block from where we are, there's that big cross. I'll just show this. That big cross at the church.
Methodist church.
Yeah. Has that cross? There was a church there, of course, and the church was destroyed, but the cross stood. And has that cross kind of become a symbol for folks
I
here?
think so. I think
Yeah.
so. And then there's a lot of murals. If you go down Main Street,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of murals that says Joplin Strong and
Yeah.
a bunch of stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Did you hear any stories about the butterfly people?
Yes.
What did you hear about the butterfly people?
I heard that you could see this like spirits in this field, and it was the same field that a friend of mine and his wife, there were sisters holding hands in this church, and one of the sisters kept holding on, and the other one was passed away, and they didn't know it, and they wouldn't, of course, didn't want to say anything to her.
Sure.
That it was devastating. But I heard that they saw like spirits or whatever that they could see going around.
They were kind of like angels
Yeah.
or some sort of spiritual creature. No, I'm sorry. Tell me that story again of the women who were holding hands. What is that story?
There were 2 little girls.
Yeah.
And they were sisters.
Uh-huh.
And they had been down at the church, in the basement of the church.
Oh, when the storm hit.
And yes, and they were scared, and they were all holding hands.
Yeah.
And the one sister had passed away.
Because debris had hit her or
Yes.
something, or okay.
And the other one had survived.
And was it? And the surviving child saw?
The surviving child did not know at the time.
Okay.
That her sister was passed away.
I see. But did the surviving child see one of the butterfly people, or?
I don't know for sure, but I've heard that was the around that place is where.
Oh, I see.
So
that's the connection. That's around that area.
Yes.
Is where
That's
people
where I
saw
had
the butterfly
heard.
people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Do you still? We're almost 11 years after now. How often does the tornado go through your mind?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
What kind of thoughts do you have when you think about it?
Well, after the storm hit and we could get out of our basement, we walked around because I couldn't get cell service, and I was worried about my aunt and uncle because all of us live around.
Sure. Yeah.
And I saw no trees, no anything. It was just devastating. I thought, oh my gosh, she's gone. There couldn't be a survivor over there. And I just have so many stories that friends and family that had been involved in the tornado and have had stories of their own that they survived. My nephew he was working at the super center, and he pulled people out of the rubble and stuff. Went to my in-laws' house, and he still had debris in his hair and everything else.
Wow.
The guy from Pizza Inn, he saved a bunch of people in the cooler, and the cooler door while he was shutting it, he got sucked in.
He got sucked. Yeah, the tornado pulled him out.
My son's friend Will, he died, and his
Wow.
dad was hurt really bad.
Yeah.
Bunch of people from Stained Glass Theater that my son and daughter have acted with in plays and stuff had
Yeah.
died and left a lot, or
Wow.
had left long-lasting injuries from that. And,
Long-lasting injuries from
yeah.
the storm. Yeah.
My son's director, when I had liver tumors, and my son's director's mother who passed away in the storm. She helped raise money for me for my
wow.
medical assistance and everything
Wow.
while I was sick, and she passed away. Her name was Wendy.
And she passed away during the storm.
Yes.
But she's a woman who had helped you
Yes.
in a big way. Her name was Wendy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There's just tons of. So it's hard not to think about it, especially May come.
We're in May now. Yeah.
And my grandson was born around that time. He's born the 15th of May.
Mm.
6
Just
years,
a week before.
6 years. I mean, it was after the storm.
After the storm.
But I still think, the week of his birthday, that there are so many families that are thinking about their loved ones that aren't here anymore.
Yeah.
And it's,
wow.
You can't help think that,
Yeah.
Anybody that has been through it, or even anybody who has empathy or can sympathize with another person,
Yeah.
would think about something like that.
Definitely.
So
it's powerful. There's no question about it. Just even being here and hearing you. I really appreciate you taking this time.
no, it's no
to tell me.
problem at all.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.